Hi guys, my name is Lu Xiaoman. This is Group G discussion, and our topic is about SDG 13, which is climate action. We all know that hitting our SDG 13 targets is the biggest challenge of our generation, but there's a side to going green that we don't talk about enough. Every climate solution, no matter how promising, comes with its own environmental and economic footprint. Today, we are looking past the Polish marketing and eco-friendly labels to have an honest conversation about the real-world trade-offs of the energy transition right here in Asia. From the land use for solar farms to the hidden emissions behind our electric cars, we are here to ask, how do we move toward a sustainable future without creating a whole new set of problems? Let's dive into the hidden cost of climate action. So for the first panelist one, we see more AVs on the road, but if our electricity still comes from coal, are we actually reducing emissions or just moving them from the tailpipe to the power plant? You may speak now.
Hello everyone, my name is Tan Yen and I'm representing Group G. Today we are discussing a critical theme, which is Malaysia's green tech transition, sustainable solution or environmental burden. My focus is on the specific challenge of EVs within Malaysia's current power grid. We often label EVs as the ultimate green solution, but we must ask, must they truly green in Malaysia? Or are we just shifting the environmental problem elsewhere? First of all, let us talk about the zero emission myth. There's a misconception that many believe EVs are zero emission, but this is actually misleading when looking at the entire energy system. Adoption creates a tailpipe to smokestack effect, but the car has no exhaust pipe. The emissions ain't gone. They are simply moved to the power plant. The electricity used to charge an EV still comes from power plants that burn fossil fuels. Besides, in Peninsular Malaysia, 90% of our electricity comes from coal and gas. Based on localized data from Joshi 2018 at the Penang Institute, this means pollution is just being moved from our streets to the power plant smokestack. Now let's talk about the carbon footprint paradox. Without a shift to renewable energy, driving an EV could actually increase a person's carbon footprint by up to 48% compared to a fuel-efficient petrol car. We cannot look at the energy in isolation. To make EVs truly green, we must fix the energy infrastructure first by increasing our renewable energy mix. I think that's all from me. Thank you, moderator.
Oh, that's a tough reality to swallow. And speaking of the grid, we need more power to fuel those EVs. So now, to panelists two, solar farms are popping up everywhere in Malaysia. Do you see this rapid expansion as a purely sustainable solution, or are there hidden administrative and environmental burdens we are ignoring? You may start your speak.
Thank you, moderator. Hi guys, my name is Liu Zi. And to answer the moderator question, no, it's not purely sustainable yet. You mentioned hidden burdens, and I think the biggest one we are ignoring is the land use conflict. I found a study by Shahid in 2021 that looked at the solar farm in Johor, and it pointed out a really messy situation. Okay, basically, we are building industrial power plant on agricultural land. For example, in Kota Tinggi, there's a solar project that took out 140 acres of an active palm oil plantation. And now here is the administration burden. Our laws are actually outdated. The study found that there were no clear rules for this. The authorities had to use a special permit called temporary occupation license to approve it. Okay, the problem is that the permit is usually used for temporary structures like telecommunication towers, but not for industrial scale energy plants. So, in conclusion, we are using temporary stickers to fix a permanent problem. So, and also we are sacrificing food producing land because our law are not ready yet. So for me, this is a huge administrative mess that we need to fix before we call it sustainable. Thank you, moderator.
Okay, thank you for your speak. It's a good idea, I think. So for now, to panelist 3. So we have a land issue and a grid issue, but there's also a digital issue. Panelist 3, we live our lives in a cloud, but the cloud actually lives in massive data centers. Is our digital lifestyle becoming a hidden barrier to reach our carbon goals? You may start your speak now.
Thank you, moderator. Uh, According to your question, it's becoming a bigger burden for our society by a digital source. We often talk about digitalization as the ultimate green solution, the shift to paperless, weightless economy. But today, I want to pull back the curtain on the hidden energy vampires of this transition, which is data centers. We are currently witnessing a massive infrastructure boom in Johor and Cyberjaya to support a regional AI and cloud demands. However, we must confront the physical reality of this digital growth. Driven by AI revolution, nearly 90% of all data in existence today was generated in 2 years. Global data is projected to leap from 149 zettabytes in 2024 and incredibly 39 zettabytes in 2028. This isn't just a storage issue, it's a climate issue. Data centers already account for roughly 3% of global greenhouse gas emission, a footprint equal to entire aviation industry. Furthermore, these facilities consume staggering amount of water for cooling, often in regions where security is already concerned. We have to ask, is our green digital economy is truly sustainable, or we are simply shifting the environmental burden from paper to power? Thank you.
Thank you for your speak. So now, to panelists 4. Within globalization, our country have promoted a lot of new tech, but without a circular economy ready now. Are we just creating a new environmental disaster for the next generation? You may speak now.
Okay, thank you, moderator. I'm Chong Kenneth. So now it's my turn to talk about the hidden side of green technology. So we all want electric vehicle and solar panels and data, but there's a big problem. Malaysia is becoming one of the big dumping ground for e-waste. So according to research by Mohammed and others in 2022, e-waste is growing globally up to by 5% every year. And in Malaysia, we generate over 360,000 tons of e-waste in 2020 alone. So that's the scary part. A lot of this e-waste ends up in illegal workshop that does not handle toxic materials properly. So my main point today is that technology alone won't save us. It's the way that how we manage it. So right now, we are in a buy and throw away cycle. If we don't switch to a circular economy where we actually reuse and recycle the parts, so this all this green tax will just end up as the toxic waste in our country. So we are basically trading one type of pollution for another one. So to wrap up, we need to make sure that our recycling system are just as advanced as the new technology that we are buying. So if we don't fix the circular economy gap, our green transition won't be sustainable at all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your speak. So I think now all of our panelists have end their speak. So let's start our discussion part now. Okay, just now I have a question about panelist 2 presentation. You just mentioned that solar farms are creating an administrative mess and taking out farmland. So do you think we should stop building solar farms? how do we balance the need of the renewable energy with food security?
That's a big question. Instead of saying we should stop, I would say we need better policy. Right now, as the research paper point out, we are using special permits to force industrial solar farms onto active palm oil plantation. That's a shortcut, but not a long-term solution. Instead of competing with agriculture, we should have specific zoning laws that prioritize non-productive land. For instance, we should focus on like rooftop solar in cities or brownfield sites like abandoned industrial areas rather than consuming productive food producing soil in rural cities like Johor or Kuala Lumpur. So, and also we need to stop choosing between energy, energy security and food security. With the right zoning policy, we can actually have both. And this policy fix is urgent, especially because of the demand panelist one has just mentioned. And I totally agree with panelist one point. If we want to fix the dirty grid problem and power all these EVs with green energy, we will need to double or triple our solar capacity. Based on my research in Johor, we need to convert 1,000 more acres of plantation land. So my question is, do we actually have enough land to support this EV revolution without destroying our agriculture sector? Because right now the policy just isn't there.
Well, that's a really great question from panelists too. To be frank, I would say that if we continue with the current policy, then no, we don't have the capacity. And honestly, this makes my point about the zero emission myth even stronger. First, if we cannot build enough solar farms, these lands conflicts or special permits, then we cannot clean up the grid. And if the grid stays dirty, every new electric vehicles on the road is just running on coal. Remember, my research by Joshi 2018 shows that 90% of our electricity already comes from fossil fuels. So if the land issue stops us from getting solar energy, then the EV revolution is basically meaningless. We are just moving the pollution from the highway to the power plant. And for panelist 4, I have a question, which is just now your argument highlights a paradox where green tech leads to Malaysia becoming an e-waste dump. Since you mentioned that the technological changes cause global e-waste to grow by 3% to 5% annually, how can Malaysia claim to support SDG 13 climate action if our transition to EVs merely shift pollution from the air to the soil through battery leaching?
Okay, thanks for speaking. So now I have another question. Is if EVs and data centers are both sucking power from the grid, so which one should we prioritize? Is any person want to answer this? No? Then I have another question. Building on the land use issue, does the waste from those solar panels make the problem even worse?
I think is making the with the polar system it will it will make it more worse. How about you, panelist 4?
Okay, she just asked you panelist 4. So how you think about it?
Sorry, my bad. Can you repeat the question? I was having some internet problem just now.
So my question is,
Mm.
building on the land use issue, does the waste from those solar panels make the problem even worse? So you can just follow this question.
So, in my opinion, yes, it does make the problem more worse. It's because, as you can see, solar panels they use batteries too, and when the battery is out of use, it will become an e-waste, just as what I say. So no matter how we can reduce, there is still some e-waste, and if we don't handle the e-waste in a good way, it will lead to problems to our country. Yeah, that's my point.
Okay, thank you for your point. So I think that's the end of our discussion part. So let's do an ending. So where does all this leave us? If there's one thing we have learned today, is that hitting SDG 13 isn't just about buying green stuff. It's not as simple as just swapping a petrol car for an EV or putting a few panels on a roof. Real climate action is about fixing the massive invisible system behind those products. It's about the power grids, the supply chains, and the way we handle the waste. We have to breathe enough to look at the whole picture, not just the parts that look good in the advertisement. The energy transition is absolutely necessary, but it has to be harnessed. We can't solve the climate crisis by ignoring the new problems we create along the way. So thank you for being part of this reality check today. Let's keep working toward transition that actually works for everyone. Thank you for our panel, and thank you all for watching. And my name is Lu Xiangman. Uh, the name, the panelist one name is Saratism, and panelist two name is Liu Zi, and the panelist three name is Dan Yanze, and the last name is Chong Kenneth. Thank you all. Thank you all.